links in the description. If you do like this video, if you like the topic, then please do like, comment, subscribe, share the video as you see fit. Have a quick look at some of the other videos that I have on my channel. I typically read through a news article the same day or the day after it's being published, so breaking news in that regard, and it's typically of this kind of topic, typically pretty dark topics: murder, torture, and in this case, regrettably, a trigger warning here, this involves child abuse. I'm going to read through the full article. There's a link in the description should you wish to go through that in your own good time. And I'm not entirely sure, but I do hope that this is quite a significant talking point in the mass media, the mainstream media rather. I'm not sure if it is or isn't. I can imagine it isn't. I can imagine this topic has been swept under the carpet and will remain fairly hidden, as it were. I hope that isn't the case, but you know, that's what I would guess is. So a CNN, the news network producer, has been arrested and accused of raping children as young as 9 years of age. A senior producer at CNN has been arrested and charged with enticing minors as young as 9 years old to engage in unlawful sexual activity. Between April and July of 2020, John Griffin, who worked on the CNN show New Day, allegedly used online messaging applications to communicate with the purported parents of minor daughters, according to a Vermont grand jury indictment. The 44-year-old CNN producer from Stamford, Connecticut, who worked shoulder to shoulder with Chris Cuomo, used Google Hangouts and Kik's another social media platform, to convince the mothers that a woman is a woman regardless of her age, and that women should be sexually subservient and inferior to men. I mean, I'll just throw in a comment. Those are very creepy lines. A woman is a woman regardless of her age seems to be a justification for underage sexual activity, as does women should be sexually subservient and inferior to men. So, you know, he's trying to justify, I would say, as a layman, that allegedly he's trying to justify sexual activity with the mother's daughters. Okay, in June of 2020, Griffin, I'm not quite sure who Griffin is, Griffin advised a mother of 9 and 13-year-old daughters that the mother's responsibility was to see that her older daughter was trained properly. Hang on, sorry, Griffin is the guy's name, John Griffin. Okay, I'll read through that again. In June of 2020, Griffin advised a mother of 9 and 13-year-old daughters that the mother's responsibility was to see that her older daughter was trained properly. Griffin later transferred over $3,000 to the mother for plane tickets so the mother and her 9-year-old daughter could fly from Nevada to Boston. The mother and child flew to Boston in July of 2020, where Griffin picked them up in his Tesla and drove them to his Ludlow house. At the house, the daughter was directed to engage in, and did engage in, unlawful sexual activity. Griffin also allegedly attempted to entice 2 other children over the internet to engage in sexual activity, proposing a virtual training session in a video chat in April 2020, which would involve instructing a mother and her 14-year-old daughter to get naked and touch each other at his direction. Don't really want to read any more of the article. I've just reached my peak there. I mean, it goes on to talk about another incident with a 16-year-old, and then it shortly thereafter wraps up. So he's been arrested, he's been suspended from CNN, and he's worked with CNN since 2013. Again, is it noteworthy. It's definitely noteworthy, I would say, that he works hand in hand with Chris Cuomo. Chris Cuomo is himself embroiled in a scandal which has come out this week. He's been fired, I believe, from CNN, or terminated, whatever the correct terminology is. Chris Cuomo has been terminated from CNN, I believe, for allegedly assisting with his brother's legal difficulties. His brother's legal difficulties involve sexual assault, allegedly. So it's all a very big quagmire. But regardless of the connection to Chris Cuomo, this gentleman has been I shouldn't say gentleman. This man, John Griffin, the CNN senior producer, has been accused of really heinous sexual assault of minors as young as 9 years old. If he is found guilty, or rather, if he is guilty, then I would hope, and I would assume that you would hope, that there's a special place in hell for him for the rest of eternity. Yeah, so let's hope that justice takes its course. Let's hope he gets sentenced a good amount of time. I mean, I'd be all for capital punishment myself, personally, but you know, that seemingly doesn't happen for these types of cases, as far as I'm aware. Anyhow, there's that article. Condolences to the victims. We wish them the best of strength, and condolences to the families. And again, we just hope and expect that Satan has a special place for this guy to sit in hell for eternity.